Salmon Science Friday, week 6. Welcome back. Get your prediction stuff out because we're going to jump right in. When we're looking inside the tank today, I would love for you to be paying close attention to how they really look. A lot has changed. I keep saying this over and over again every week that a lot is going to change, and it is true. I am not pants on fire lying. I am telling you the truth. Things are going quickly. So when you're looking at your fish today, I want you to really pay attention to a lot of the details. When you're making your drawing today, I want you to use your salmon spot again, pause and pay close attention to really how they look. So what their coloration looks like, what their shapes look like. So that would include like maybe how big their belly is. That's been kind of the most obvious thing that we're watching change, maybe other than the color. So really pay attention to color, shape, maybe size. Sketch that out on your observation sheet or on your dry erase board or whatever you're using. Because what we're going to do today, we're actually going to go on a field trip to the west side, and I'm going to show you some friends of mine out in Edmonds, Washington. They're also raising coho out there, so we're going to do a comparison. So it's going to be really important that you look at our baby coho, because we're going to be looking at other baby coho, and we're going to see how they're the same and how they're different. So that's something to pay attention to when you're drawing. And that, I think, is it. Let's go jump in, shall we? Whew. That was a cold swim today. I'm feeling pretty awake now. So, a lot of you observed last week that those silly billies up at the top of the tank swimming around maybe wouldn't have such an easy time out in the wild. They should be down in the rocks, hiding, waiting to use up those yolk sacs before looking for food. So great observations to those of you who reached out and told me that you think that maybe they would have gotten gobbled up or swept away in the river, not staying in the rocks like the other alvin are doing. So our alvin today, again, are still swimming. You can see them over my head right now, actually. So we are still seeing some alvin. Their yolk sacs are being a little more soaked up than they were last week, but they still have them, so they're not quite ready to eat. They should still kind of be down in the rocks, so that was sort of something a little different. So I don't know how any of your predictions from last week, I asked you to do a prediction of what you think the salmon would be doing this week. My prediction of the salmon riding bicycles obviously didn't work out for me, but you know, better luck next time. but some of you have been predicting their behaviors and what they look like, so great work on that. So what we're seeing now is that they're getting a little more developed. They are still alvin. Their colors have changed, like I said. Their belly sizes have changed. So now let's visit my friend Brooke. She's in charge of the hatchery out in Edmonds, Washington. This is close to Seattle, and they raise tens of thousands of baby coho every single year. And she's excited to meet you and talk to you about her fish. So when you're looking at her salmon, her coho salmon, I want you to keep in mind that coho salmon adults, they come back to spawn about the same time as other coho salmon do. So our baby coho and their baby coho are pretty close in age. They probably were hatched similar times. But I want you to pay attention to some of the words she says, and I'm going to post up a little hint at one point when she mentioned something that may be able to help us decide why we're seeing some things that are the same and some things that are different. So let's go on a field trip to Edmonds. See you soon.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Willow Creek Salmon and Watershed Education Center. We are located here in Edmonds, Washington. We're really close to the Seattle area and close to the Puget Sound. My name is Brooke and I am the hatchery program manager here. Our water temperature today is about 47 degrees. We're dealing with a lot of our snow melting. We had about a foot of snow over the weekend, so our water is really murky today and full of sediment, but I will do my best to show you our salmon. Here we have our salmon rearing troughs, and in each trough we have 40,000 coho fry. They're in the fry life stage in these troughs to get them acclimated to eating some of our food that we feed them. We'll take a closer look here. The water is super murky still from all the snow runoff. You can see they like to school up. And we'll take a closer look. So here, I'm gonna stay over the water so you can see. But here's a close-up of our salmon fry. And as you can see, they're all buttoned up and they are ready for food.
Thanks, Brooke. Isn't she the best? I think so. Her fish are very cute too. Okay, so anyways. So like I told you, I'd love for you to be able to tell me the difference between the Wenatchee School District coho, the coho out in Edmonds. So in your observations part, it would be great if you use some of the words and descriptions that Brooke was giving to you, describing her fish, maybe the conditions they live in, maybe what stage in the life cycle they are, because hint, hint, she used a different word than I've been using to talk about our fish. So the way they look, the way they are, what they're living in, how is it different? Tell me in the observations. For the drawing, remember I asked you to do in your salmon spot to draw as detailed as you can the salmon that are in our tank. And now do the same thing if you need to go back and rewatch Brooke's video and pause when she's holding up the fish in the net to be able to take a close look at her fish and be able to draw it. Maybe do a side-by-side, label the way that they're different. And then my big super professional biology challenge for this week is I want you to tell me using evidence. I want you to take evidence from Brooke's video and I want you to explain to me one difference that you saw between our fish and their fish and tell me how you came to that conclusion. So, great job everybody. See you next week. Flipgrid, questions, answers, feedback, send them over. Have a good one.